I'm going to call this video questions and answers. I don't have the most sophisticated titles for my videos, so I apologize for that. But there was a question out there that what is the protein that I'm talking about? Okay, because I mentioned that in my video that after 2 weeks of taking benzodiazepines on a regular basis, according to the study that I looked at that I can't find anymore, which is the worst part about this, people would, develop a protein in their brain that would, send signals to their parasympathetic and sympathetic nervous system and put them in that state of panic to give them that withdrawal symptom. Even when the drug is gone. And I mentioned before that most people when they go through the detoxification process, their chemistry is going to be altered, but it usually resets within about a month or two, or maybe even a couple weeks. To the point where they're feeling pretty good. But with the post-acute withdrawal syndrome, and the benzos, man, that can take a while. That can take a long time. And I don't know exactly, who that was, that did that study. I can't remember. I came across that information in 2015, and I only found it twice, and it was gone. It explicitly, had a bunch of stuff in there that had to do with, basically people being tested. That they were doing all kinds of tests, and they found out that after 2 weeks of taking that, doesn't matter how small the dose is either, they said, that you can get that. And that's the problem. That's the big issue that you're going to deal with concerning, the detoxification process. Because, like I said, you can change your chemistry back, or, get the chemical out of your system, fairly quickly with other narcotics. But with the benzos, that protein, whatever it is, I don't know what it was, I couldn't find the information again. It takes a while. It takes a while to reset that. And so that's the problem. And I'm guessing a cover up. Okay. I mean, what else, what other conclusion are you going to come to at that point? Okay, because I've found other literature out there, and people are talking about the same thing. In about 2 years or so, they got over it. They don't know why, but that's the story. When I started, I think it was the last dose I took was in November, and it was, I think, the 15th of 2013, and it was sometime in 2016, probably around June, that it broke, and I didn't have those flare-ups anymore. I had some minor, little bouts where I would get kind of nervous. It might only last 15 minutes or something like that, or it might be a day where I kind of felt like I drank a little too much coffee, or something, nothing major. And I was okay. And then after about a year of that, then it just disappeared altogether. In fact, I don't need anything for sleep now. And I was diagnosed with panic disorder, with a rare, almost untreatable, anxiety disorder. I was going to die an early death, never get natural sleep for the rest of my life. And, I don't need anything now. I don't even take Tylenol PM or anything like that. Never had a problem. During the process of detoxification, I took, retrazepine or Remron, trazodone at lower doses. Everything else just had too many side effects to it. And like I said before, I'm not a doctor. I'm not trying to tell you what to do. I'm just telling you what I did. I'm just sharing my experience because, that was hell. If I could, if I could prove this stuff, I'd sue them, literally. And they've got the risk of dependency on the bottle. Yeah, right. It's that's that. I think it's a little understated, but whatever. So I don't know. I don't know. What protein that is. I don't have no way of finding that information again. If you guys can find it, let me know. Because the only thing I can find out there is similar literature that has to do with the time frame, and that people have an improvement in their symptoms, through that process. And it's about 2 years. Mine was a little over 2 years, but even after the first year, year and a half, I started feeling pretty good. But it would come back, and it would come back pretty hard. It'd grab on. And it might last, for a week or two, or, at the end of what I was dealing with, it grabbed on for a couple months, and then it just broke. And then I had another little episode that lasted for 3 days in June, and then that was it. And that was the last time that happened. Like I said, there was a couple times where I felt like I, drank too much coffee, or something that might have lasted 15 minutes, or a little edgy for a day. And then after a year, that was gone. And that was nothing. That's after dealing with the withdrawals from benzos, that's candy land. You're not even going to notice that. The other thing that I wanted to address is, what your family is going to be. There's a lot of different ways to look at this. Sometimes family members are helpful, okay, and they're, sometimes they're not. Okay, sometimes people, they don't want to deal with it. Okay, so you're gonna kind of have to, be wise, and kind of be a profiler. Because certain types of people aren't going to be able to deal with your neediness. And you're going to be needy. You're going to have problems. Okay, that doesn't, I went through it alone. Okay. But I know that if I would have had people around me who would have kind of, tried to, be responsible for me, or tried to care for me during that time period, they would have had to watch me go through weeks and months sometimes of, some pretty unbearable sleep deprivation, some anxiety, laying in bed, kind of rocking around on the bed, and not being able to sleep, and not being very functional, not being able to eat, being, depressed, and kind of having a negative outlook and stuff like that. And, a lot of people, like I said in my last video, don't want to deal with it. They have, just so much that they can already handle on their plate. There are people out there that can't do that kind of thing, and you're going to have to be wise to know that, to be able to, just, if there's people like that in your life, you're gonna just have to let them know up front. Hey, this is the way it's going to be for me, and I don't expect you to come and hold my hand and cry with me the whole time I feel like this, because that's not what I'm expecting of you. I'm not going to drag you down if you're not, if you know that somebody can't handle it, if they've already got a little bit of stress and they're kind of moody anyway, you're going to want to kind of avoid those kind of people. But if there's other people, though, that are very good at that are very patient, and that have that gift, I guess, to where, they will spend time with you. They will kind of, cater to that emotional roller coaster that you're going to be on. And, they might, help you relax, or, try to be nice and calm around you, and quiet, and, move slowly and be gentle with you. Because like I said, you're not going to like the people moving around real fast, and turning on the light, and, slamming stuff around, and, and just being loud. Or there's people that they're just like that, and they're, like big dumb animals, I guess. And there's nothing you can do except avoid them. You know, that's just the way life is. So you're gonna be dealing with that, and if there are people, like I said, with a gift of being considerate, and kind of a caretaker, then if they have time, because you're gonna need somebody to talk to. If you're out there and you're going through this process, or you need somebody to talk to, I'll do it. I mean, if you give me your Gmail, excuse me, I'll give, my contact information. I might, ask for your phone number, and even talk to you on the phone, maybe for an hour or two, because it gets rough, and it's going to be, like I said, a couple of years probably, depending on, not everybody has to do that. That was the worst case scenario in that study. And some other people walk out of there, sooner. So I just wanted to touch on those things, guys, because, that's one of the major concerns. Because doctors are going to ask you, what are you talking about? They don't know. None of the doctors that I dealt with knew anything about it. They didn't have, the literature. They didn't have the experience. They told me I was pretty much screwed, and, that I was going to, take it. They didn't, a lot of the guys that were going to, take me through the detoxification process, they gave up before I was even ready to stop. And here my eyes were crossed, and I hadn't slept in weeks and months, and they're like, just take it. I'm like, well, thanks for, torturing me for a month or two. That was fun. And now you're just going to give up, huh? So, doctors don't know. And they're expecting to see results a lot faster. And it might be, 30 or 60 days before you're, able to take something that's non-narcotic and, sedative and, kind of start to stabilize out. And it might be sooner than that. I've seen people that were addicted like I was that, after a couple weeks at the hospital, they were okay with, some antidepressants that helped them kind of calm down. So, it doesn't have to be, like, my ordeal. It might be a lot less than that. And so doctors are going to want to know what the hell you're talking about. And, if they're not going to understand that, and if they can't find the literature, it's not really their fault. They don't know about it. But the only thing you can point at that point is the fact that there's literature out there that talks about people, getting better in about 2 years from it. There's quite a bit of it out there last time I looked. So, the tough part is deciding to start to take the first step, because it's brutal, man. It is. And like I said, though, there was a guy that I was friends with that had the same problem, and he was taking Xanax, and that guy, he could put away a lot of it. I think he was prescribed around, 7 milligrams a day of Xanax, but he could eat it all at once. And he was pretty bad. He had the post-acute withdrawal syndrome. But after a couple of weeks in the hospital, he leveled out, and, he had bouts and everything, but he wasn't as bad as I was. And he was, it didn't take him as long as it took me. So it might not be that bad. You're going to feel better away from it, than if you're going to be taking it. I noticed that even as bad as it was for me, that, getting off it was better. At least there were days where I didn't have to take it. Guys, be good to yourselves.